Internet.
Hi, my name is Arun Ravi. I've been working on and off with Python for the last 10 years. So it's nice. I haven't come to this meeting before. So hi everyone. I'm going to share a quick, maybe 10 minutes about web scraping in Python. And I've been meaning to write a blog about this. It's actually something which we actually did. I was previously working in Infosys. So we have an intranet portal where we have employee blogs. And these blogs were hosted on a server which uses LiveJournal. How many of you know LiveJournal? LiveJournal is like blogspot.com, but it's a predecessor. It's an open source package. If you install LiveJournal on a server, employees can anybody can actually create their own blogs. So sometime around 2012, it was decided to shut down this LiveJournal server. So at that point in time, it was running for about 6 years, and a lot of people were upset. People were having a lot of blogs, a lot of content on this, and obviously there was nobody to maintain this. So we couldn't ask for them to dump the database and take a backup. So the usual solution for such situations is web scraping. Web scraping, all of you know, right? Anybody who doesn't know web scraping. So web scraping is nothing but if you have a page on the internet, say for example your Facebook page, and somebody is interested in, say assume that you're a very famous person, a celebrity, and somebody wants to know if somebody has updated or that celebrity has updated that page. So you can scrape that page, nothing but a simple one-liner called, there's a module called urllib2 in Python, right? So just say urllib2, open that URL, just copy that string, check whether that string has changed every 5 minutes. So this is a very simple example of web scraping. So this is a little more complex in a normal practical situation. You don't just have a web page, you have that will be a starting point. On that web page you will have links to other web pages. In the case of a blog, you will have so many other links. You have archives, you have year-wise archives. Inside year-wise archives you have month-wise archives. Inside you have dates, and then you have to download them. And sometimes you have to not just download them, you have to just extract the body, you have to extract the title, you have to extract the date, and things like that. So interestingly enough, Python is not just a general purpose language, right? It has batteries included. There's so many libraries which are part of the standard distribution, which we call the standard library. And we have so many other third-party people keep on developing modules, like Django is a good example. This is not part of the standard library, but which comes as a third-party, which is an excellent web framework. So what do you do when you have just the standard library? So I'm going to explain the thought process which went behind scraping the entire blogs. I'll skip to the end of the story very quickly, saying that we scraped the entire content very successfully using just Python libraries. So what we did initially is a very simple implementation. We just used urllib2, opened everything. Whenever there is something called LXML. LXML is part of the standard library, right? So LXML is used for parsing. Once you have urllib2 strings, you have to parse those strings into HTML or so-called DOM objects. So DOM objects are easy to navigate or manipulate. So once you have urllib2, you take the string, you parse it through LXML. This is one option. The second option is something called Beautiful Soup. Beautiful Soup is another form of parser, which is actually a predecessor of LXML, and it's not as fast, but it's very good at handling bad or malformed HTML. So interestingly, it's just one file, but it can do a lot of things. So that was used, and of course now some people wanted to create ebooks out of this. So they said, we have a blog, and now can you create an ebook out? You have backed up my entire blog, but can you create it in something like an EPUB format or a PDF format so that I can read it or I can send it to my friends? So there is something called templating languages, right? So in Python we have Jinja, we have Genshi, we have, I don't know, hundreds of templating languages. And interestingly, the one that is closest to Django templating language, I think, is Jinja. Jinja is very similar to, so I am very familiar with Django, so I started using Jinja. So this was the initial setup, right? We had URLlib2, we had LXML, we had Jinja. Now it so happens that URLlib is very slow and it is single threaded. So if you have thousands of blogs or thousands of pages, it takes a very long time to back up the entire thing, and it takes a lot of traffic also. So we started looking at different options. Another option you have is called request. This is called the human readable library for taking URL web pages. So if you read URLlib2, you will realize that it has a lot of legacy code in it. So it is really difficult syntax for you to understand. So that's why another very famous contributor, I forgot.
Kenneth Rice.
Sorry?
Kenneth Rice.
Yeah, Kenneth Rice. Actually, he developed request, which is very easy to use. It's like just request.open the URL. It's as simple as that. So, but that is only handling that only takes care of the convenience aspect of it. So, if you are a beginner, if you want to start using, if you want to start learning WebScript, I would recommend that. But it's not still as fast as what we encountered next. What we encountered next was actually something called Perl. So many of us are familiar with Perl. That's just the command line way of getting web pages. And there is a Python binding for Perl, which is actually pretty fast. It's actually completely optimized to C, and all you have to do is call that particular library with Perl. And it's also having concurrency support to a certain extent. So that's all the aspect of getting web pages. And LXML was finally chosen for the middle part, that is converting them into DOM objects. There are various ways of using LXML. You can use XPath for extracting a piece of a page. You can use a very object-oriented syntax, like start from HTML.body, .head, .div, .something, or you can go for a .css kind of a syntax. So eventually CSS syntax was the most preferred because I don't know if you noticed in Chrome there is something called Chrome Inspector. You can just right click on any part of the page and you can just directly copy paste that CSS selector. So that was finally what was chosen. And for the final output we used Jinja. So the EPUB part of it was handled by an EPUB maker. So the whole story is pretty much a collection of libraries, and the end output is kind of startling. So you just start a command line, you just start a command just saying that scrape username, and it will show a bunch of output. About 2 minutes later you will get a .pdf or a .epub which will contain the entire collection of blogs, and it's an easy to carry.